And we are live.
All right.
Hi, guys. Welcome to our first episode of 2021. We are really excited to host Ms. Vandana Tolani for today's session. She is the CEO and co founder of Convento. And you know the drill. Don't forget to post your questions in the chat section. Giving a brief background about Ms. Vandana, she has a 15 years of experience across both international and Indian business in the advisory field. Additionally, she has a large network of business relationships and is a member of a number of networking houses. And she also has a network of more than 200 investors, PE, VC, angels, and HNIs globally. Are really excited to be in conversation with you today. And we are really glad that you've accepted to come on this platform. I think the session will talk about the key insights on startup, its ecosystem, how things will turn up in 2021. Furthermore, giving insight about pitch decks and how Vandana sees that pitch decks and investors can be tapped through your business idea. And finally, we will close the session with giving advices and building some strategies for good growth of your businesses, and followed by a Q&A session as we do in all our sessions. So over to you, Vandana, and welcome.
Thank you, Apurva and Ritika, for this wonderful opportunity. I am very grateful to both of you. Uh, hi everybody. This is Vandana Tolani. I have 15 years of experience in Jakarta and Singapore. I had my own family office fund there. I have come back to India 6 years back. I did some investments. I run my own firm. My firm is called Convanto. We are connected with 200 investors globally, which includes PEs, VCs, angels, and HNIs. We do a lot of fundraising, business consulting, mentoring, pitch deck making, financial modeling. We are global in terms of geography. We have connections all over the world. We accept any kind of deal from all over the world. We have investor connects all over the world. In 2020, we have closed uh, 4 deals in agri-tech, deep tech, fintech, and health tech. And I'm looking forward for a wonderful 2021. So thank you once again for bringing me here.
That's a nice introduction, Vandana. And I think we should directly run towards the set of questions I have for you. So, first
Sure.
of all, I want to start with the different types of investments and how do you think funds can be raised in a startup ecosystem?
Firstly, broadly, there are 3 to 4 different kinds of investments. One is equity, one is a debt, and one is a CCD. Most of it, most of the startups that come to us are for equity investments. For any company to raise funds, there are a few steps that they must have it in order. Firstly, they must have a proper business plan vetted by a good investment banker or a mentor. They must have a pitch deck made by a professional, which is really important part of getting your investments. They must have a proper company, private limited company, and they must have a good technology and a revenue making company that should be shown in the pitch deck.
Sure. And how do you feel, and what are your thoughts on the upcoming startup ecosystem, given the fact that Invest India and Startup India, they are too aggressive on creating state-wise startup hubs? And how do you see that how 2021 will roll out for these startup people?
So, 2021, investors are very positive about startups. We see a lot of fintech, agri tech, health tech, deep tech, AI, and robotics company coming in power, even food tech for that matter. So I think these are the industries one should look for, or try to have business in these kind of industries.
Sure. This gives me a quick thought that how do you see edtech turning up? Because it's not that edtech has not a good presence before COVID. It really did have a good presence in terms of a lot of hubs, Khan Academy and the likes. What are your views? Like, will edtech change for, or will edtech take a 360-degree shift after lockdown and after the post-pandemic scenario that we see that schools and colleges are still shut and people have moved on to online learnings? So what are
Hmm.
your views and what do you think edtech people should look forward to?
So, edutech, of course, is coming up, and it had come up a lot in 2020. Even in 2021, there will be a lot of edtech companies that will be getting investments. It's a hot sector, and I think education will still be online for some time until the vaccine is totally tried and tested, and all the parents feel that the children are secured. So I think it's going to still continue.
True, true. So according to you, what should be the first source of funding? Like, should someone start a company with their own money? And if yes, then what is the right percentage and or how someone should think about building a company?
So, firstly, when a company starts, they should not immediately ask for funding. They must have their own self fund in order to start a business, and not just, they want to start empty handed. They must have a proper business plan, which is, uh, made by a professional, vetted by a mentor or an investment banker, a proper pitch deck for that matter. Not only that, they must have a CFO, and a CFO is very, very important in a company, and they must have an advisor already before they start, because many people don't know how to manage their finances, where the CFO can help. They need a lot of advices in terms of investments, in terms of where to use the money, and where not to use the money. So these are the factors that one should keep in consideration. And of course, not just pick up any sector in terms of business, also look around which sectors are hot, etc.
True, true. So you say that bootstrapping is a good strategy, at least for the start.
Yeah, the first start is always with a self fund. Either it's with a savings, or it's a family or a friend that funds the company, and post that some bootstrapping, and then any VC and PE would come into place.
Got it.
Until
Got
and
it.
unless the founder's background is really, really strong. So
Mm-hmm.
there are 3 to 4 factors that uh, investors look into. One is the promoter's background, one is the technology, and the kind of revenue. So if the promoter's background is really strong, he already has a good past, and then he's trying to build up some technology, then I think there is a good chance to get funded.
Got it. So, in your opinion, what are the early funding mistakes one should keep in mind and avoid?
So, first mistake that most promoters make is they box themselves up by giving a valuation, which I always tell them to avoid, because not to box themselves up by giving a valuation, just keep it open. They think that having a proper pitch deck is something they should not spend on, but I think to have a proper pitch deck and to invest on this is a good investment for them to get investors. And so these are the few mistakes that many founders make. They get too aggressive and pushy with the investors.
True.
They don't uh, take advices into consideration. So there are a lot of factors. They don't want to hire investment bankers because they think they can do everything. They don't want to hire CFOs, even a virtual CFO, because they think they can do everything. So I think these mistakes should be avoided.
So I think prototype and pitch deck making are the two things which people kind
Yeah,
of make a mess. And definitely, I would like to hear more about this in the later part of the webinar. So,
yeah.
what are the best practices that you think one should use when they think of connecting with investors? Because often I've seen that few investors or few investment hubs, they are focused on some sectors. So, how to connect with the right set of investors is the thing.
So, firstly, all companies should take help of investment bankers because they have really good relationships with the investors. And secondly, the best practice to connect to the right investors is that they should know the thesis of the VCs, what are the thesis, which sectors they invest in, and what are the ticket sizes, and only then approach them and uh, you know uh, write a mail to them. These are the best practices, and have a proper pitch deck which is already checked by a professional, and have a mentor in their system who can check all these things. Sometimes people just make any pitch deck and they start pitching, and until after a year or two, when they don't get investments, they realize that oh, because their pitch deck was not proper, or there were other certain things, uh, at zero revenue asking for a 3 million, 4 million. So you know these are the mistakes that people make a lot.
So, I would like to take a pause, and there's a question I would like to take from the audience. What are your views, or what are the views of an investor for an e commerce marketplace? As there has been a boom into edtech, fintech, and stuff like this.
Yeah. Right now, e-commerce is getting lots of investments because in COVID, lot of e-commerce has come into place. So I think it's a good market. You can ask investments from the prospective investors. So I think, but what kind of e-commerce platform you have created, that also you need to specify to me for me to guide you more deeper into it. But if it's just any kind of e-commerce, so basically, e-commerce sector is doing good in these times.
True, true.
Yeah.
Something which comes to my mind when we talk of e-commerce marketplace is how do small businesses, which have been running from ages, got to
Mhm.
compete with startups? Because now new startups going to be more tech advanced, or inclined towards
Mm.
more innovation. How do you think they can tackle and transform the world along with small businesses? How do you think they should compete, or they should work in unison? What are
The
your
first
views?
thing is to go digital. Many startups, they don't know how to use simple things like WhatsApp status, Facebook story, LinkedIn story, how to use hashtags, how to tag people, what is the how to utilize their network through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So the first, small businesses should always have these things in order, and have the correct target audience, and not just any target audience. Do a lot of networking, even if it's lockdown and many people are not going to offices or events that used to happen, networking events, you can always network through such platforms, webinars, attend more sessions, such sessions which will give them insights on how to go about their businesses, and reach out to people. Anybody who wants any advice could reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm open to help them in any way I can.
Got it. So, again, coming back to the important question, and maybe one of the good
Hmm.
agenda pointers that we've kept, what is the importance of a pitch deck and a prototype? How should one choose between the two? Or do you think both are mandatory when you go out and look for investments?
The most important document that gets us investments is the pitch deck. So an investor doesn't spend more than 90 seconds on a mail, on a pitch deck, and so we need to keep it, to the point, with not having it more texty. It has to be more numeric for the investors to understand. Not only that, explain your idea properly in the pitch deck. It is very good to have a video pitch deck, which is trending in the market. A few minutes video pitch deck would really help promoters to get their investments fast. And it's a good way to, reach out to the investors. So I think it's the most important document is your pitch deck. Invest in it. Reach out to the professionals. They will make it. Don't try to do everything yourself, because there is a professional for each field. For in getting to the right investors, you have investment bankers. For guiding you on the finance part, you have CFOs out there. For getting your pitch decks to be made in the right manner, you have, and financial models, you have good pitch deck makers in the market. So this is the right way to do it.
Would you like to share some good tips and tricks, or would you like to take us through a good pitch
Yeah,
deck strategy, components, and stuff like this?
yeah, I'll just share a PPT.
The screen isn't shared yet.
Yeah, it says loading.
Okay.
Yeah, it shows the loading button. Is it visible now?
Not yet to me.
Is it visible now? Is it visible?
No, I'll just tell when it's visible. It's not visible to me
Okay,
to add to the audience.
okay. Let me try to stop presenting it and start again.
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
No.
Okay, I'm just clicking on present here. Not visible? Visible or not?
No. What I can do is
Uh, do you have the PPT?
yes. Let me
Yeah,
just do that.
would you like to share? I did the screen share like I did earlier, but somehow it's not happening.
No problem. Let me just do it.
Yeah, it's visible to me.
Cool. Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So, could you zoom it a bit? Yeah, it's much better now. So, basically, this is all about Convanto and about myself. So, this is the first slide. What investors expect to see in your pitch deck? So, the first point here is there has to be a clear company purpose mentioned on your pitch deck, your mission, vision, and this slide needs to be short, not too long, but to the point. If possible, have a tagline or explain it in short. What are you trying to build? Uh, then the second slide should be introducing your uh, team and your and their track records. So it's very good. It's very important to have a very good team, some seniors in your team, and not just freshers who have just come out of who've just finished their graduation, but some seniors who have worked in the corporate for several years. So you must have a proper team. Problem, what is the problem that you are trying to solve, and what is the solution that you are giving? What is the product that you are developing? That's very important. And what is the opportunity that you are giving to the investors? Who is your target audience? What is your target audience? And also, what is your total addressable market? So you need to show some calculations here and numbers, and not just put too much text. So the more numbers you put, the more better your pitch deck is. You can use graphs, etc. So going to the next slide, what is the product? What are the features, key features? And, maybe you can have a product demo video, which is there. If you're making a gaming app, have a product video. If you're making a cloud platform, have a product video always ready with you. Not too long, but also not too short. Maybe a 3 minutes video would do good. Have a proper business model. Uh, that investors are putting their hard earned money into your company. So what is it that they are getting by putting their hard earned money into your business? So if you don't have a proper business model, then definitely uh, you're not going to get proper investments. It's like when you are giving some pocket money to your children. Naturally, you would want to know at some point how they are spending it, and what did they do with it. So it's the similar kind of situation here. Investors are putting their money because they also want to look for their benefits. They also want to see where their hard-earned money is going on, whether it will be multiplied or it will be burned. So I think it's very important to have a proper business model. Competition, always have keep an eye on who are your competitors. Always have that slide where you can position yourself better than your competitors. So that slide is really important. And whether you are at seed stage or you're at traction stage, what progress you have made, all that needs to be very clear on the slides. If you are already at pre-seed stage, what is your 5-year plan? And include all your plans on your deck very clearly, so that it's clear what is your goal for the next few years. A very important slide which the investors really look at is the fund usage. Firstly, how much you're trying to raise, what are the funds going to be spent on. So this slide is really important. So please make sure that this slide is really in order, and you have shown it to somebody who is from the finance background before you pitch it to the investors. Exit strategy, it is the most important thing that an investor looks for. So make sure that you have created a proper exit strategy for the investor. So structuring your pitch deck. So what do I mean by structuring your pitch deck? you know uh, you should be able to grab the audience's attention. Now, most of the pitching is now happening online. uh, in order to attract the investor, you need to have a catchy story. You need to be able to attract his attention, so that his or her attention, so that he or she can ask you questions around it, and there is a more interactive session when you are pitching your pitch deck to the investors, rather than only you are the one who's talking and the investors just looking at the pitch deck. So make sure that you are able to grab the investor's attention when you are pitching your pitch deck to the investor. Very, very clearly define your problem, your solutions, and what is it that you are building up, what kind of market you are targeting, explain the market, how widespread it is. And investors need to understand total addressable market, and your potential number of customers that you're going to serve. So make sure that that is really, really clear. Make an ask. While you're pitching your pitch deck, many people forget to make an ask. Many times the investors keep asking, what can I do for you? Do you have any questions for me? At that point, promoters forget to make an ask. So, I think that you need to make a proper ask and have a proper slide for that, and what kind of support you need from the investor to grow. And these are some tips for making a winning pitch deck. Now, you need to really make a pitch deck and from a professional. So, make sure that you have used a business pitch template, to make a design for it. Use infographics to illustrate your key processes, and use some visuals like videos, which really works well. Use graphs, charts, and more numbers to explain your concept, and add a SWOT slide for visual strategies. And one of the successful visuals for a pitch deck is a SWOT slide. This type of slide includes highlighting your strengths, weaknesses, your ecosystems, and what are the things that can keep you away from not getting the investments. And tips for your pitch deck. This is another slide that I had created. You must have a business plan or unit metrics. Many investors only look at numbers. It is better to present the unit metrics and business plan first, so that you don't lose out the interest of the investors. This includes giving your revenue, exit strategy, the type of investment that you're looking at, whether it's an equity, debt, or a CCD. So many times when I have been judges on pitch deck events, wherein pitch decks are being pitched online to the investors, I have seen promoters, they don't specify what they want. Do they want an equity? Are they looking for a debt or a CCD? So investor cannot read your mind. Investor might think that you are looking for an equity, but in your mind it could be a CCD that is going on. So make a video pitch. Investors do not spend more than 90 seconds on a mail or a deck. Keeping that in mind, you should make a video presentation and show that immediately after the business plan if possible. Your language should explain every aspect of your presentation in layman terms. So I have seen companies, they use very high technological terms which the investors don't understand. Explain to the investor in a layman's language, what are you trying to build, what is the in a layman's language. If you have to explain to somebody your work, how you're going to explain. So you must have a clear language. I have seen many pitch decks having spelling mistakes and errors in their grammar. So please get it checked by somebody before you even show it to the investor. Keep it brief, to the point, and interesting. And make sure that you have explained it, your story, in the right manner, and you're not lingering on one slide for too long, more than a few minutes. This might make the investor lose their focus. Additionally, anticipate questions and ask them way ahead of time, making sure that you clarify every detail to avoid any confusion. So these are some of the do's and don'ts. So the do's are, keep it very, very clear and specific. Your pitch deck should be able to communicate everything effectively to the investors. Having a storyline is also one of the keys. Make it really, really interesting from the point, so that the investor really gets interested. The first four slides are really important. This should be made in such a way that can capture the investor's interest. So basically, when you're asking for investment, what are you trying to do? You're selling your company to the investor. If you don't have a catchy story, if you don't show that you can really do well, uh, how will you gauge the investor's interest? Formatting is important. Like I said earlier, I have seen pitch decks with spelling mistakes, with numbering mistakes, with all kinds of mistakes. So make sure it is made by a professional. Make sure that you have shown it to somebody before you show it to the investors, in order to not waste your time. Let's go to the don'ts now. Don't forget the important slides, like your team, your market, and if there is any traction. And make sure this is included in your pitch deck, and you don't forget that. Don't make it too texty. It should have a lot of numbers, graphs, and which explains it really well, rather than making it too texty and heavy for the investor to read it. And also, don't give a lot of information. Let the investor come up with questions in their head, that what next. So keep some things not disclosed completely. If the investor is interested, they will ask certain questions, and you would be able to understand that the investor is getting interested in your company. So this is about it. Are there any other? Yeah. So these are some. Uh, my voice is echoing, Apurva.
No, 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 it's fine.
Okay, okay. So these are some examples from a pitch deck. Could I request you to just zoom it a bit? No, could I request you to zoom the second last slide, before the thank you slide? Yeah, the one which had examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This one, could you zoom it for me a little bit? Yeah. So if you look at the slide, how well the fund usage has been explained, really in an orderly manner. It has been explained, the technology, how much is it required for technology, how much percentage for marketing, how much percentage for operations, and how much percentage for miscellaneous. So everything is in put in order. So it has to be like this. Could you take it to the yeah? And this is yeah. Uh, this is also one of the slides that you must take into consideration, that how is what is their revenue. If you see that they have really clearly shown with the figures mentioned over here, so make sure your revenue slide is like this. And key metrics, when I say unit metrics, or it is also called key metrics, should have all these details. This is a very simple key metrics that I've picked up. Of course, companies that are really big will have better key metrics, but if anybody who wants to learn what are key metrics and unit metrics, this is one of the best slides. So that's about it. We can take some questions now.
Sure. I think that was nice the way you crisply deduced all the pitch deck and the good strategies around it.
Yeah.
And possibly we are open for questions. I think last question that I have for you is key insights or some tips or growth strategies for upcoming businesses. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
So I think have your marketing, especially your digital marketing, in order. Uh, that will get you a lot of growth. Uh, like I said, that I have people who have being highly educated and have done so much work in these years. Simple things, they don't know how to use a WhatsApp status, a Facebook story, an Instagram story, or a Twitter, or use their LinkedIn in the right manner. So if you use these platforms in the right manner, you can actually get a lot of growth. uh, Make your brand stronger by a lot of digital marketing. Also, you must know how to tag people, use hashtags, and also connect to the right investors. So if it's a tech investor, you please connect with them, not but don't send them consumer deals instead. Hence, you must always have an investment banker with you who can guide you with these steps.
True. I think one thing before we open out for audience, I want
Yeah.
to know one piece of advice that you have for all the entrepreneurs or business people in general, and what are your views for them?
So, my advice is don't give up, and don't be fearful in asking any questions. Don't be fearful of reaching out to investors. They are not monsters. Don't be fearful to reach out to the right investors, investment bankers, or so I think my first advice to everybody in 2021 is be a warrior. Don't give up on anything that you feel will get you the returns in your business, and try to use at this is the time to get digital. So use your LinkedIn properly, use your Facebook properly, use your WhatsApp status properly instead of putting up pictures of clothes, holidays, this, that. Better to use it for your business. At least you'll get some traction there.
True.
And I have had cases where people are losing out work, and they forgot to use these platforms during COVID times. Get on to webinars, get on to sessions with Apurva, and get yourself going.
Thank you so much for these kind words. And now I would like to open for the audience and the listeners,
Yeah.
and would love to know your questions for Vandana. And also, Ritika, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Apurva, and thank you, Vandana, for such an insightful session. So we've definitely had a lot of learnings, and so you've given us the correct recipe to the perfect pitch deck. So before we move ahead, Vandana, would you like to highlight some points on storytelling, as in a presentation? Delivering a presentation is also equally important, and what is your key to storytelling? So what impresses you the most? Because sometimes we get into a dilemma whether we should make it slight a tad bit informal or keep it completely formal in a spick and span way. So what is the best way to do it, whether a mixture of formal and informal or just formal?
So when I was a judge in a show wherein I had to evaluate pitch decks, I see when you go for a formal physical meeting to anybody's office, uh, you know, how are you going to be dressed up? You're going to be dressed up formally because you're meeting them. It's the same thing when you're having a live meeting online. Having an online meeting doesn't mean that you can just wear a t-shirt or something that is not formal to present to the investors. It's as equal as
Right.
having a physical meeting. So I saw people from highly educated backgrounds, but they are not really dressed up well when they were pitching to the investors. So keep it formal. There is no need to keep it informal or casual. Investors are not our friends or relatives. So keep it as formal as possible. It's a formal thing, it's a formal business engagement. Keep it, you know, uh, to the point with business. So I think that would be my suggestion to all the viewers and all the listeners here. That was
Yeah.
what I saw. Many people were making mistakes. Many people, while telling their pitch deck, started telling their story. So if it's a health tech startup, and the whole thing that led that person to make the health tech startup was, say, that person got diabetes. Actually, you don't need to tell that story, like I have diabetes and it is at this level. It's not required. Investors don't want to know anything of that sort. You can just say that, this topic interested me. Just keep it
Hmm.
very to the point, specific. And business is just a business, it's not something personal. So hence
Right.
casual dress ups, casual conversations, your language not using proper language, even not introducing yourself. So the moment
Hmm.
when you go online to pitch your pitch deck, I have seen people, they forget to introduce themselves. So I think these are small minor things, but it really you know keeps I mean, it's really effective. Like if you go to somebody's office, you never know, people are looking at your shoes or looking at the way you are dressed. You would not know that, but people are observing all the time. So I think the same way it is online. What is the kind of language you are using? Are you introducing yourself properly? Are you being professional in terms of things? So I think that really is matters.
All right. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you. That actually clears a lot of things. So, I actually do remember sometimes people start with what inspired them and how did they derive that inspiration. So, you're right that, when we have a very limited time of, say, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we better cut to the chase and we better be formal. And then later, maybe if things turn out to be, the way
Yeah.
we want them to be, then we can actually talk about our inspiration. You're totally right.
And they forget
And
to talk about their
so I
education
think,
background. So they forget to
right.
talk about their education background. That, look, I've done this education, I worked in these
Mm.
many corporates, and so instead of that, they go to another topic. So I think investors also want to hear what is your education background. So that really matters.
Right. Yeah, that does build up credibility. You're right.
Yeah.
So Vandana, I think let's take up a couple of questions which are there in the comment section. So Tushank says, what are the views of investors for an e-commerce marketplace as there has been boom in the edtech, fintech, etc.
I think we've
Uh,
taken this question, Ritika.
yeah.
So,
We took this question. Yeah, we have taken.
Oh,
Do you
I'm
want me to
sorry.
repeat it? You
Oh,
want me
I'm
to
sorry.
repeat
I
the answer?
think I would have dropped.
All right.
so,
No worries.
No,
so
no, no. I would have dropped at that time. Sorry. Okay, and there is a latest question by Velu Murugan. He asks, how do investors value startups when they only are in the stage of MVP? What do we need to do to get a good valuation?
So the thing is, I repeat again, you don't box yourself in by giving any valuation, but there are a lot of professionals who will help you get your valuation done. You can go reach out to them, and they will help you with the right valuation. If you are at, if you have not reached that stage, wherein you can give your valuation, you can always ask the investor if you would like to go for a CCD instead of an equity. So that should work well.
All right, all right. So audience, we are up for more questions in case if you have any. Meanwhile, I would request Vandana to, just highlight a couple of books that she's recently read. So, one that you've already mentioned, and during our conversation earlier, and a couple more, so that we actually come up with the confidence that is required in these tumultuous times to start up something new and start up something afresh from scratch.
All right. You can read The Power of the Subconscious Mind. You can read The Courage to be Disliked. You can read these books that will really help you, not only in clearing up your thoughts, but it will also make you attract the right kind of people um in your industry, and keep you positive all the time.
I know it's a very subjective question, and it depends on situation, on how we present, etc. But
Yeah.
then, what is how do we actually create the best first impression about our team? So say if Apurva and I were to go and pitch, so how do we create the best impression?
So the thing is, team is really, really important. Say you have somebody
Right.
who has donkey years of experience in the corporate, who understands the nitty-gritties of business, who has been a CFO before in many companies. So that kind of a person, if it comes on your board, it's an advantage for you, because you'll be getting guided in the right manner. Otherwise, you'll be falling, standing. So you'll have lots of failures in that regard. So it's like parents are more experienced than small children. So it's the same way. All these people who have worked for several donkey years in corporates, at CTOs level, CEOs, and CFOs level, they definitely have a lot of more experience, especially the ones from IIM background and IIT background, or who have done a lot of work in the corporates. They can be a good resource for startups where they are only youngsters, to guide them in the right manner. There is a possibility that you and Apurva have enough funds to make a business, but you might not have the guidance, and then you can, waste your money. That's the reason why I emphasized on it.
Right, right. Also, Vandana, which is your favorite startup in India?
In India, my favorite startup. Uh,
I mean, something that is very inspiring and, one that everybody should know about.
Uh, well, I can't really take names, but yeah, I personally like a lot of fintech startups.
Right.
I I'm really fond of any kind of fintech that comes in, uh,
All right.
and deep tech. I like robotics. I like AI a lot. So
Oh,
these are some of the startups that really, really interesting to me.
that's nice. And Vandana, are there any magazines or columns that one should follow for getting regular updates on startups? So we do follow newspapers, and we do get our hands on a couple of renowned magazines. But do you think there's something that is a little underrated yet a very good magazine? Not many people would have heard about it.
So, firstly, follow my LinkedIn and
Oh,
look
okay,
at
awesome.
all look at the sections of where I've posted in the featured section. You'll get a lot of updates and lot of insights on all the UK TV shows that I'm there, or on the webinars that will give you insights. But it's good to follow your story. They are very well updated. I follow your story a lot,
Hmm.
and business world is also a good thing to follow. So these are the
Right.
two of my favorites. Yeah.
Thank you, Vandana. So these are this is it from my end. Apurva, would you like to add something?
No, I think you summed up pretty well, and really appreciated the conversation we had with Vandana today. Really enjoyed it, being a part of it, and we are happy to connect with you even in future for some business advisors and for some startup advisors. Definitely, yeah. Any closing thoughts, Ritika, from your side?
Do you want to take more
No, I
questions?
think Vandana. So there are no more questions in the chat box,
Okay,
and
all
yeah, I think this is it. Right. And if at all we come across more questions or if somebody reaches out to us, we'll redirect those to you. And Vandana, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule and talking to us. And so you understand our cohort is basically young MBA grads who have just completed their MBA and who are in MBA right now, first year and second year. Also, a couple of corporates and a couple of graduates, and it's been a very nice session, and I'm sure all of us would have had a lot of takeaways. And I'm totally excited for upcoming sessions with you and upcoming discussions with you. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Apurva and Ritika, for this opportunity. I hope I could add value to the audiences and to many more who are watching the show and listening to me. And if and if I could be of any help, please do reach out to me anytime. I'm always available on LinkedIn. And, please take any kind of help that anybody needs. And I'm very grateful to you and Apurva, for this opportunity. Thank you for giving me this platform as well. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Bye bye. Good night.